Okay, here it is. The May long weekend. Friday. Did I sound like a DJ from a bar there? Felt like it kind of sounded like that. Or working the Himalaya, the exhibition. Thank you for making time. Aerial view, if you're watching the stream, that's Colson over there, and he is riding shotgun with me for the next 3 hours. We got a lot of guests joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline today. Western Pizza, maybe just all May long, weekend long. Just order in. No barbecuing with this weather. We have guests like Farhan Lalji coming up. We have Martin Ring, color commentator, member of the Prince Albert Sports Hall of Fame, talking PA Raiders Everett, Game 5 tonight. We have Luc Dunville, head coach of Team Saskatchewan. 9-a-side football Monday in Lumsden, Manitoba versus Saskatchewan. We'll get you updated on that. We're going to hear from Nelson Lacombo. We're going to hear from Zach Fry, NHL insider, Eric Francis, Off the Rails Friday with Eric Francis, and training camp reports with Dave Thomas for sure, possibly Luc Mullinder up in Saskatoon. You are always welcome to participate in the show on the Prairieland Rentals text line, 936-6262. Prairieland Rentals, located at 600 Albert Street in Regina. Anything you need rental side, but then the lawnmowers, Husqvarna dealer, anything, the lawn and gardening that you might need, visit them before anybody else. You deal with the owner, local company, you got warranty. Prairieland Rentals text line, 936-6262. That's going to become important today if you want to win as well. I'll get to that in a moment. WHL Final, I mentioned, Game 5 tonight up in Prince Albert. What's the 50-50 going to be? That's what I want to know, the 50-50. No NHL hockey tonight because things are wrapping up. It's sad, you know, when you get the first round and there's hockey every night. There's 2 games, sometimes 3, and you just get home and you watch hockey till midnight, and it's a lot of fun. Today, nothing. But you got the WHL championship that you can watch tomorrow. Again, it's going to be Montreal and the Sabres. I'm actually going to get everybody updated on tickets for that game. If anybody's like me and thinking about going, but you're not going to go, but we can all dream, can't we? I mentioned it's May long weekend. What weather? I grew up in Saskatoon, spent a lot of time in the north, up north, Lakeland, and there were always May long weekends for the most part that the weather sucked. Kind of like what we're seeing today. I know people, I remember my wife telling me when she was growing up, they went camping, I think it was Kenosee, out in that area. They had snow. It just I think it was last year nice on May long. I got 3 tee times booked, can cancel those. Things aren't happening on the golf course probably this weekend. Flag football, hopefully that goes tomorrow here in Regina. So Colson and I were talking, and since we have these rider scratch and win tickets to give away, we got 2 of them again today. If you haven't heard, bird is the word. Rider scratch and win tickets, $7 gets you in the mixer. You got a chance to win 2 $75,000 prizes, over $200,000 in Rough Rider prizing up for grabs. Things like 10 years of season tickets, a premium suite for the 2027 home opener, a premium suite for the 2027 Labor Day Classic, tons of rider swags, more cash prizes as well. All the money raised stays in Saskatchewan because it's a Sask lottery sing, goes to 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation organizations. So we have 2 of those to give away. We've been giving them away with the phone lines all week, and they've just been off the hook. The most calls we've ever gotten for any prize by far, Colson said.
Pretty easily, yeah.
So then today we thought, let's get that text line buzzing. Let's get the text line buzzing. So if you want the scratch and win ticket, the first one, throughout the program, we want to know your May long weekend weather story at 936-6262. You got to keep it to within 20 words and less. Snow, Kenosi, 1995. Drank 79 beer, whatever. Let us know on that. And then everybody that you got to leave your name and where you're from. Colson's going to compile, do the Wheel of Winning. That's how we're giving away the first ticket. Colson, that's how we wanted to do it?
Yep.
Any May-long bad weather stories that come to mind for you?
No, not bad weather. This is probably my quote-unquote best May-long story, and I am a secondary character in it, but long story short, I have 2 birthdays to celebrate this weekend in my family. One's today, so happy birthday, Tim.
Timmy.
And then on Monday, happy birthday, Dylan.
Dill.
Yeah. Dylan's the older brother of the 2 of them. So on his almost 3rd birthday, my mom suddenly had to go to the hospital because Tim was coming. And he didn't get a 3rd birthday. And I don't know if he's fully gotten over it, but it's still very funny when a 3-year-old and then 4-year-old and then 5-year-old repeatedly brings up and complains about how he missed a birthday because his brother had to come. So that's the closest I got to a wacky weather story, but
I got a couple. What's the first one I can go to? I think it was in grade 9. Maybe grade 10.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Waskesiu, driving slowly through Prince Albert with my mother in our half-ton truck. And I'm just going up to Waskesiu, going to play some rounds of golf.
Yeah.
I got a buddy up there, take it all in grade 9, maybe grade 10. Well, my hockey buddies from Saskatoon were a lot cooler than me in grade 9 and 10.
Yeah.
So they are going up to Emma to party. And we're driving through PA. If you ever driven through PA on May-long weekend, it used to be a slow crawl, right? So, of course, we get to this one light, and I'm sitting there and riding shotgun with my mother, and right beside us, car full of my buddies with absolute rockets, girlfriends, people. It was a bigger vehicle. And I'm just trying to slouch down in my chair to hide. And all of a sudden the window rolls down. Hey, Barney! Hey! Where are you going? And I'm like, this could be one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. I was like, I just going up to Waskesiu, play some golf. Looks like you guys are having a kind of fun. Yeah, we're going to Emma. All right. Well, see you later. My mom and I are getting back to our Oak Ridge boys tape cassette, and we're cruising up. That I don't know why that's just ingrained in my mind. So yeah, it just wasn't that cool. I guess in grade 9 and 10, wasn't into the booze, as they say. At that young age. I have a couple more, but yeah, if you have them, 936-6262. I think a lot of them are going to be around camping and snow,
probably,
and crap weather. But I think last year was nice. For some reason, I remember golfing. It was fairly nice. It was like kind of stealing a long weekend.
Yeah.
Where this one, we should be able to defer this long weekend if the weather's not good.
That'd be nice.
You know what? I'm going to come into work on Monday. Gonna double up the long weekends on in July or June.
Why not?
Should be able to. I know Victoria Day, and are we still doing the monarchy thing? But let's give people the option. Since it's going to be 4 degrees on Monday and ugly out, you can defer.
I think I remember a weather story I have now. I have to remember if this is May long or not. I think it is. But do you remember doing camping trips in school?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we went up to Anglin Lake once and Rostern Regional Park. We biked there on a single lane highway. I don't even know how that was allowed.
Yeah, that's Stacy.
Biked to Batoche once too.
Yeah, I think I got lucky and got to be one of the last few trips that did it because they don't do them very often anymore.
No.
But so my grade 7 year, we went to just down into Echo Valley, down to the provincial park there. And it was supposed to be a Friday overnight to a Saturday, I believe, or like a Thursday to a Friday, whatever. But we got all set up there. And then the weather warnings, we were like aware that there was going to be bad weather, but it was a tornado watch. So we had to pack up and head home. So we didn't get to spend the night, but we still went back out the next day. So
Roscoe goes shoveling snow, Cypress Hills, May long. Roscoe, you're in to win the tickets. Jeff, no story, but I want the ticket. Jeff, you got to have a May long weekend weather story. You're not entered yet. Brian, could you please call my cell phone again? Oh, that's Brian Raymond a little bit later.
oh, there we go.
Shane and Assiniboia. Here we go. Shaner knows what it's all about. Snowstorm about 1995 while calving. Lost a couple. Ooh, that's no good. Shane and Assiniboia. Shane, you're entered in to win the scratch and win. I think it was about 5 years ago. It rained so much in Regina. A park turned into a lake. Jacob in Regina. 5 years of lots of rain on May long weekend.
2021?
James, 1985 Dash Tours trip, destination Minneapolis, Yanks, Twins weekend. Absolutely blizzard halfway there. Jack Daniels to the rescue. That's the other thing, too. A lot of people taking their winter tires off, took them to Regina Motor Products, got the winter tire, got the summers on, and then now we got some snow. Like, I got to go to Saskatoon. Leaving tomorrow now, and I think Mrs. S and I, both of our vehicles still have the winters on. And the other day when it was 27 degrees and I was driving to PA, I was like, I really should have taken these things off. But now I'm like, play the odds.
Glad you didn't.
It's May long weekend and Thanksgiving weekend. You can just never really trust the weather.
Nope.
936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line. If you want to win those tickets.
I will say, though, we've had a lot of recent years here where it's like been in December and we're like, okay, the snow isn't sticking around yet. We've had some late winters here the last few years, but then the spring is still always.
Ed says, only thing more embarrassing is if Barney and Mom had matching outfits. No. Come on. I was probably rocking some sort of a hip-hop t-shirt. By the way, I got to give Eric Francis another hip-hop track to listen to.
There we go.
In hour 3. Yeah, some people, that would be embarrassing. A teenager's worst nightmare. We got a Walk a Lake one coming in. We'll get to that one in a bit. We'll take our first break here. Then we'll be joined by Farhan Lalji. It's a Sports Cage streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. What's the May long weekend weather out there in your neck of the woods looking like?
Well, this weekend it's gross.
Okay.
We've had 2 fantastic weeks of sun, up to 30 degrees on some of the days, and now we've had 2 days of rain, so it's like maybe 10 degrees, 11 degrees today, so not ideal. I got to go to a track meet, which will be like watching a bunch of mutters, and they're on synthetic surfaces, but it's still not going to be fast times. My kid's dying to get under 11 seconds in the 100, and he's so close, and I'm not sure today's the day he's going to do it, but hey, we've had a good run.
They should make them run on the dirt like the old days. Let's see how fast you are, kids. We're looking at Calgary's weather on Monday. Actually doesn't look bad. 12 degrees. Yeah. Partly cloudy sky for the Riders and Stamps game. Anything around CFL camps this week, Farhan, that's piqued your interest?
Yeah, I've been looking at new quarterbacks, right? Guys that haven't necessarily been in this league before, right? Whether it's a guy like Caden Salter here in BC with the Lions as they look to, potentially upgrade their backup situation, not this year, but going forward, and he's got an opportunity here right now before they potentially bring in some new quarterbacks down the road. And a guy like Taylor Algersma, like in Winnipeg, and, obviously a guy that has spent time with Canadian rules with the success that he had in U Sports before he spent a bit of time across the line trying to make it in the NFL, and just see how they respond to these new opportunities and new environments, right? I've heard good things about what Taylor is doing, right? I mean, one of the things, like you look at a player like Caden with the Lions, I was at their camp on Tuesday and have kind of continued to stay updated on how things have looked for him in the last couple of days. And I remember the first passes I saw him throw with pads on in a 12-on-12 situation. Wow, did his eyes get big, right? And, you think, oh, this is cool. The receivers can motion, but then you realize that, oh, those defenders, they're also moving. They're also motioning. And I might not be able to find out, where that guy is, let alone the fact that there's an extra guy back there. So it looks different for these guys. So I'm trying to find out who's making some inroads and who are the next guys, because that's such a big thing for me. The future of the quarterbacking position in this league, I've opined on it with a number of different angles, and talked about the short yardage quarterback, talked about all of this and just how that impacts it. This is that moment where these guys are getting a long look. It won't happen in season, so let's see what they do.
What do you need to see from Elgersma? Maybe with the eyeball test live, what do you need to see from him to, I guess, maybe be a believer, to say, yeah, this kid's got a future in the league?
Timing and accuracy, right? And make it look like it's not too big for him. Because here's the one thing we know he's got. He's got arm talent. He has got legitimate arm talent. One thing we know he doesn't have: movement skills. He is not going to beat you with his legs. A 40-year-old Zach Caleros is going to outrun. Trevor Harris is probably going to outrun Taylor Elgersma. He doesn't possess that skill, okay? But he can sling it. So this is going to come down to whether or not he gets the ball to the right spots at the right time and putting players in position to catch and run. And that pinpoint accuracy that leads to yak might take a little bit of time, but can you get the ball to those guys on time? That's the first thing, because you want to see completion. So, I think we know what he is. We think we know what he isn't. So let's find out. One of the things Paul Lapolis used to always tell me, and he did a study on this, during a period of time while he was coaching, and he went back through 10 years worth of quarterbacks in the league that had played, a certain number of starts. And he just, he made the point that quarterbacks do not improve from college to the CFL in terms of accuracy and pass efficiency. Those two things don't improve. You better have them when you get there. Don't think you can be a 56% passer in college and figure it out in the CFL. It's not going to happen like that. I think Jeremiah Masoli might have been the one outlier during the sample size that he was looking at that showed they could actually improve, and the game has changed because, with all the screens and the quicks and the RPOs, it does inflate completion percentages. But at some point, when it's 2nd and 8, no one's believing your RPO. You got to drop back, you got to read coverage and throw the ball downfield. And I want to see if Taylor can do that.
Talked to Dave and Luke this week up in Saskatoon. Braden Shager, quarterbacks, looked really good for the Riders. We got Jack Cohn in there, kind of as QB2. Then we got the short yardage, obviously, with Tommy. A guy like Shager, though, going into the preseason here, what do you think that they're looking at? And do you think is there any chance that maybe someone could jump ahead of Cohn?
I don't think anybody's jumping ahead of Cohn. Look, they had to make a decision between Cohn and Jake Mayer. Yeah. Right. And I think everybody kind of saw, right? Last year, Cohn was truly their number 3 quarterback, right? I know that, Tommy Stevens had the short yardage role, which he was very good at. But if there was ever an injury to one of the top 2 guys, Cohn was going to be the next guy in the queue to be going in, right? So I think they've made their decisions. I think there's a big belief on him. He's not a young kid, right? Yeah. He's had some experiences, and I think they believe he's that next guy and is ready for a full-time number 2 opportunity. But yeah, I do think that Shager's got an opportunity here, right? And I think that's what they want to see. They want to see completions, and they want to see that it doesn't look too big for you, right? Are your eyes in the right spots? Are you taking your drops, hitting the top of your drops at the right time, and getting the ball in the right spots? And those are the things they want to see, right? They don't want to see you double clutch and hold it and hold it and hold it, right? They want to see whether or not you can just execute. You don't have to be a big play guy. Can you execute the simple things in an offense, even if it's getting down to the check down? Complete, move the sticks, and let's give yourself some more plays. The best thing a young quarterback can do is get first downs, because it means you get more downs, right? Just to show what you can do.
And is there, as an outsider here and just thinking, there'd be other teams kind of very curious on Shager as well, too, to see how he does, to be like, hey, maybe if things don't work out, we bring him.
Yeah, potentially, right? I don't know that that's a huge thing, at this point, right? Because I think all of these teams probably have a couple of extra guys that aren't in this league that they're keeping an eye on right now. Players that are floating around, trying to get an NFL opportunity. Are they going to be in the UFL, whatever? Like they look at those guys because they've got guys on their neg list that probably turn them down for coming up here. And then all of a sudden you get deeper into the summer and the opportunity that agent thought his kid was going to have, he doesn't have. Now he wants him to have a landing spot. So I'm not sure that there's going to be a big market, a long lineup of teams looking at him. But yeah, I mean, look, if he does well in the preseason, there may be one or two. But truly, if he does well in the preseason, he's going to be in Regina.
Reports are that the Riders have released American defensive lineman Percy Lewis the fourth. Offensive lineman. 6'7", 391 pounder. I was very curious to see how this played out. And then you kind of looked and I was like, we never really got any NFL nibbles. You would think that someone would take a flyer on him at that point. Then he comes up here. Looks like it doesn't work out. Just a guy with that size, Farhan. That's got to be, it's got to be tough.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, I think he was 390 pounds at one point here, maybe came in at 380, and at that size, you look at that, but you have to understand, right, that he wasn't a full-time regular starter even at the collegiate level, right? I mean, he did have his share of starts, but didn't start the majority of games in most of his season, so sometimes you can be too big. Right? And you've got to decide, right? 6'7" guys can play in this league. 390-pound guys generally can't because you've got that extra yard, and that yard is as much of an advantage for the defense as it is the offense, right? So it might give you angles in the run game, but we know that that's just not a big part of the CFL, right? Like you've got to be able to kick back and get outside to a speed rusher coming off the edge. And I just think somebody that moves the way he does isn't going to get that, right? I mean, when you go to the NFL Combine and you see how well some of these 320, 330-pound offensive linemen are actually moving, it's mind-blowing. And a guy like that just doesn't possess those movement skills. So coming to the CFL only makes it tougher because of the speed emphasis on this game.
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's shift to hockey. New era for the Canucks. We got Ryan Johnson in there, and we got the Sedins. You've been covering it. It sounds like everything that I'm reading that Johnson was the right call here.
Yeah, they had to kind of make a philosophical decision in terms of whether or not they wanted to go outside the organization, because if you're Ryan Johnson, he'd been here for 3 different administrations in Vancouver and generally a lot of losing, right? So I don't think he contributed to the losing, but it would be easy to tie him to that and think that's where his learning happened. That's what he believed was best practice in terms of how those things were handled. And I just don't see that in Ryan. I think you can learn from being in bad environments about how not to do things when you get that opportunity. So Evan Gold was the other shortlisted finalist, and the Sedin twins got a chance to interview both. And I think Gold is a really impressive guy from everything I've heard, just in terms of, he's got an entirely different resume than Johnson, right? Johnson was more on the personnel side and a former player. And when you've got, and scouting, and when you've got a guy like Gold, he's, on the legal side and the admin side. And I think there's value to that because I think we don't see a lot of executive leadership trained people coming into these spots in the NHL, right? Like we look for old hockey men. So Gold is a guy that has an analytics background, a law background, and has learned the game from a different end. So I think there would have been some interest there. But I just think Ryan Johnson is so smart that he will be able to learn the gaps that he's got. And until he learns them, he'll be able to bring the right people in to fill those gaps. So, you can say that the Twins don't have the presidential chops to be doing this. You'd be right. But there are men of such integrity, character, and intellect and lack of ego that they'll figure it out if given the right amount of time. And the same thing in the case of Ryan Johnson, right? Like these are impressive people that I think they know what they don't know. Their egos aren't going to get involved, and they're going to do it the right way. So the question is, will they get some runway? It's a similar situation to what happened with Trevor Linden, right? A guy that, was missing some pieces in the resume, but had some other things, right, on the business side and the PA side and, was a franchise icon like the Twins. Now, he made a grave error because he hired Jim Benning to be his general manager, a guy that only had a scouting background and didn't understand the rest of how to execute the job. And it was a disaster. Benning kind of submarined him, and then the owners didn't give Linden the runway that I think if he'd had and made a better decision on the GM, I think it could have worked for Trevor. I think this is a really good fit with the Twins and Johnson. And if nothing else, they'll start by cleaning up the culture, change the level of expectation in a meaningful way beyond just saying expectations have changed. So, you know, and look, this team eminently will be more likable right now, because it wasn't likable. And and I think that matters, because you have to win over your fan base on a few different levels when you're losing hockey games. And I think the Twins and Johnson give you a chance to have a patient fan base while this rebuild is happening.
Is it a little more inviting for free agents now?
I don't know. Like, I think free agents just, you know, like, they want to see that there's a pathway there and a chance to win. So at the front end, I don't know that there is. I think they're really going to have to dig deep on trying to extract value, and the data matters, right? Because like, one of the things the Canucks have done a good job of is finding players like, say, a Dakota Joshua or a Kiefer Sherwood or, you know, a Max Sasson or a Linus Karlsson, and they've found guys that they've been able to extract value out of that you might not have been able to find that guy in free agency because somebody would have given him more of an opportunity to win. And so I think they need to continue with that and find some of those guys, because you don't want to go out and trade or overpay on the free agent side. So, you know, is a top end free agent going to sign with the Canucks? No, but the Canucks shouldn't be going for those guys right now. They should be building. They should create an environment to get the most out of what they have, and, you know, nibble around the fringes of the league with some younger guys and give them the greatest opportunity to succeed. And then when the time is right, then you go out and add meaningful pieces. But I don't think those guys are going to want to come yet, and I don't think the Canucks should be chasing them yet.
You know the Sedins. You've been there a long time. You've covered them. The Twins. Do they think differently?
No. But that's okay, right? Because I think, like, when you saw them yesterday, they knew exactly, you know, Henrik knew exactly when he should step in an answer given to Daniel. Daniel knew exactly when he should step in. There were no, you know, sometimes you and I do a show and we stumble over each other. My fault, not yours. But, you know, like, they don't do that. And so I think they view the world and they view the game the same way. And that's okay. I think they view it the right way. So I can tell them apart. You know, I got to a point in their careers where I could just tell their voices apart. I didn't even need to look at them to tell them apart. So, you know, they sat on the podium yesterday, said, "Did you miss me? Or did you miss us?" And, you know, I get asked on podcasts all the time about, like, you know, who's the most intriguing person you've ever covered? What's the biggest story you've covered? What's the, you know, I get those types of questions a lot. And I will tell you unequivocally, the two best and most classiest people in sports I have ever come across, Daniel and Henrik Sedin, like, ever in any sport. Okay, don't give me some Canadian hockey player name. It's those two gentlemen that I covered from start to finish in their careers. I'm glad they're back, and they're not going to give me a single scoop, and I'm glad they're back.
Wow, that's great. Do you have anything up? Can you update us on the Whitecaps or any World Cup news there in Vancouver?
Well, you know, in the last couple of days, there's been meetings with all levels of leadership around the province, right? All three levels of government, corporate people, Vancouver Board of Trade, you know, the Musqueam First Nations, a number of different stakeholders, Victor Montagliani from FIFA and CONCACAF, who's a Canadian. All of them have been in a room, and I think there seems to be some alignment in terms of trying to get this done. One of the things the Whitecaps have kind of struggled with a little bit is really being clear on what the exact ask is, right? There's been kind of some moving goalposts from time to time, and I think that's slowly starting to change. And I think what they want to do, what this group wants to do, is create a structure to let a potential buyer come in and say, okay, now this makes sense. Because I'll tell you this, the MLS part of it makes no sense. This league is ridiculous in terms of the lack of national revenue that's given to these teams. Unlike every other professional big league sports league, it's a joke. Right? So the business has to make sense in other ways, because more than half the teams lose money. So I think there's now a wherewithal that, look, we can't just have some sort of county levy vote and we'll pay you for a free stadium, but there might be some other things we can do to set you up to have success that way. So I think it's headed in a good direction. I'm really disappointed in FIFA. Really disappointed with the province, with what they've allowed to happen with the BC Sports Hall of Fame. I don't know if you've seen this story.
I saw it on your Twitter. Yeah, but brief us.
Yeah. So FIFA wanted the space. right? And when the Women's World Cup happened in 2015, they said, no, the Hall of Fame is staying. Well, FIFA said, nope. We get everything we want. Nobody gets to negotiate. And the province backed down. And so not only have they taken the space, and the curator and staff have spent all this time taking all these artifacts and moving them into storage, but then for the next 2 months, the staff doesn't get paid and the Hall of Fame doesn't get compensated. This is a non-profit during peak tourism season. It's an important thing for the province of British Columbia that this thing exists and where it exists. And FIFA came in like big bullies. And not only did they say no, because this would have been a great opportunity for the province to show some of its sporting legacy. FIFA doesn't care about that. They want to show you their sporting legacy. So they big bullied them. And the province has caved. So now look, what's done is done. Everything's been moved. But the province and FIFA need to do the right thing. FIFA never does the right thing, but the province and FIFA need to find a way, because I think we need to blow this up and make this an even bigger deal, because this is all shades of wrong. These people need to be compensated and not go away for 2 months of free vacation and claim UI for seasonal leave. They need to be compensated. And wow. And again, this nonprofit entity, which is important to British Columbians, needs to be compensated for lost revenue. This is ridiculous what has happened here. Taking the facility is one thing. Doing it that way, outrageous.
Yeah, well, and even like worst case scenario, couldn't they find a temporary home for a bit, or some sort of portable operation? Just because it is such a busy tourism time.
Yeah, potentially, but by the time you educate people on where to go, it's not going to have near the cachet, or you're going to get them in a location which is the right destination. And then again, who's going to pay for it, right? So I just think there's too much lost revenue, like just to move it someplace for 2 months. BC Place is the right place for this thing to be. So, when it happened for the Women's World Cup in 2015, they stayed there, and then on match days they shut down, right? But then they were paid, and I don't know if it was the province or FIFA, probably the province, because again, FIFA doesn't do the right thing. The province compensated them for 1 day of full rental. So, whatever they would have charged a group to close the facility and have a full rental, they got that money back to their nonprofit. So at least it was handled the right way. This is a joke. Yeah,
wow. That's hard. I'm glad you briefed us on that. All right, well, have a great
that would never happen in Sask, ever.
No, we wouldn't get bullied. Just kidding.
That's right.
We
wouldn't get bullied. Yeah, we're soft out here. We get bullied.
Well, to have fun at the track in the sloppy weather. Let us know.
Starting to let up.
We'll find out next week if he can break the 11-second barrier.
Yeah, you know what? If it's going to happen, it will probably happen then, because just the facility and wind and a bunch of other things. I think that would be the spot for it. Today will be a tough one for sure.
Okay. Well, now either of us can apply for jobs at FIFA, but that's okay. It was our weekly hit with Farhan Lalji. Have a good weekend, my man.
Take care, buddy.
It's for the cooperators every Friday here. Cooperators can build a plan that works for you. Invest in your future together. It's a SportsCage on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. Okay, we're giving away one of those Saskatchewan Rider Nation Scratch and Win tickets. The first one's going through the text line today, asking people their May-long weekend weather stories. Trevor, you're in. Trevor says at Waka Lake right now. You spell Waka backwards, you know what it is? That old joke? It's snowing since noon and blowing. It's now accumulating. Ground is white. Another May-long poor weather conditions. Thanks for the update, Trevor. Curtis in Regina, 2013 slow pitch tourney. Rained cats and dogs. Drank small town bar out of Kokanee. All right. Patsy out in Swifty. Long weekend camping, Cypress Hill sunburn when setting up. Beautiful sunshine Thursday, snow and ice Saturday and Sunday. Complete power outage in the park. Wicked sunburn. Packing up wet, frozen gear on a beautiful set. Yeah, those the quick turn. The 180. Thanks, Patsy. You're in to win the tickets as well. One more here quickly before we go. Pat says 80 above Friday, planted everything out. By Monday, everything froze and 100-mile-an-hour wind, early 90s. Jeez. It is what it is. It is what it is. I hate that saying, actually. All right. It's for the Red Zone Sports Bar, located behind the Saskatoon Travel Lodge, where you don't have to worry about the conditions. You can just sit back, have a nice pint, a meal, and watch any of the sports, like the WHL Final tonight on the big screens. We're going up there for our training camp report. Joining, they're both there today, Dave Thomas and Luc Mullinder. How was it up there today? Give us a weather check. What was it like in Saskatoon, David?
I would say the rain is pretty thick right now, if you know what I mean.
Thick rain.
Yeah, yeah. I believe the Europeans call it snow. It was cold, and it was some BS out there today. But hey, you know what? If you're playing for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, you got to be able to deal with the elements. And if you plan on winning anything substantial in the league, you're going to be playing into this weather at the end of the year.
Was there one guy, though, maybe two, that you guys were watching, maybe he's new to the area, that you were like, oh boy, look at that guy. He is freezing.
No, but I can tell you a fun story. So Marcus Haynes, we both have been very impressed with this young man. He's been out of football basically for a year. He's from the Chicago area. And I don't know if you had any secrets to staying warm or did anything when you were playing, but what he used to do was he used to wrap his feet in tinfoil. So he'd have sock, tinfoil, sock, cleat.
Tinfoil, sock, cleat.
And that's what he used to do. He didn't do it today. He was actually in bare feet at the end of the workout, which I don't know. But did you do anything?
Yeah. I had this technique called "suck it up," and
was that European as well?
Yeah, it was something that I took from my travels in Europe, as a matter of fact. Yeah, you just had to deal with it. I went to college in the Big Ten Midwest, right, and it was crappy weather. I mean, the summer was beautiful and hot, but you had your share of crappy weather. But again, and I remember my first training camp. It was like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like this. And again, the nice part about it is you're moving around, right? You're out there, you're moving around, and it is what it is, even though Barney doesn't like that saying.
I was just gonna say, wait a minute. Okay, but were they able to work on things today, or was it sloppy? What was it like out there?
See, I thought it was just a regularly scheduled practice. They stuck to the script and went front to back. They executed it well, and they executed to a level that was high enough for them to actually get done early again.
Yeah, it was football weather. I mean, if you're an offensive lineman and you're carrying around a few extra pounds, this is the type of weather that you want to play in, right? And if you're a defensive lineman, it's the same thing. You don't get as tired as you do when it's plus 30 out and it's hot. You don't need those ice towels. And the nice thing about it is, again, you've just got that sort of, hey, this is football weather. Let's deal with it. Let's climb. And as I was mentioning to you today during our little quick hit, football is about physical, but also mental toughness, right? Coaches want to see which guys are going to be able to push through, right? Which guys are going to be able to let the elements just fall to the side and still go out there, still focus, still get the work done. And I thought that for the most part, the energy level stayed at a good place, right? To get the work done. Like you said, Dave, they got through practice. And one of the things that we were talking about with Rob Vanstone, and it was evident today, is there's such a difference between the rollout of the practices last year and the rollout of practices this year. Despite it being really inclement weather, still no stupid mistakes, right? They weren't jumping offside in teams. People weren't making dumb errors to make the coaches run the play again. And I think that's indicative of a team that just won a championship, but more importantly, expects to continue to get better.
By the way, just a quick point. They did practice indoors today in Calgary.
Yeah, well,
that's a fact. I'm just leaving it where you decide what that means.
Didn't even know Calgary would spend the money to go and bust their players to get indoors. That's pretty impressive.
Maybe they charged them. Everyone who has to practice
yeah, probably.
$12 for practicing at the community facility. Pay it at the front, go through the little turnstile. Watch Jeffrey loses his mind on the YouTube chat here. Percy Lewis, sounds like he's no longer with the squad.
Yeah, he was released this morning by the team, and And just one of the roster moves. It was hard to miss him when he was out there, right? But like you said, there's not a lot of time, and you mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah.
If you determine somebody's not going to help your team, you go ahead and you focus on the guys that will.
Yeah, go bring in the guys that you want to take a look at and may not had room for coming into training camp. But again, one of the things, when you're 6'9", almost 400 pounds, you've got a 9-foot wingspan or whatever, so you're basically like one of those Jurassic Park, condors or whatever you call those things. Here's the deal. I was telling you, Dave, on the first day, with those characteristics, those physical characteristics, there's got to be something wrong, right? And I also said you got to be in shape too, right? But there's got to be just sort of something missing, because those characteristics, physical characteristics that he had, I mean, those are essentially NFL type numbers, right? Not in terms of like the measurables I'm talking about. So something in there didn't fit. Now, whether it was ability to catch on to a playbook, work ethic, right? You never know. But something, obviously, again, you don't normally pass up on a guy that's just that massive and that large, right? So obviously they made a decision. And I said, you got to be in shape in the Canadian Football League, right? Especially the way those 35-second play clocks play out now, which I had a really interesting talk with Mark Mueller. I didn't even expect him. I just sort of asked him, how's things going? And I talked about, hey, practice is moving quick. And you know what he said? He's like, well, it's because we're trying to adapt to that new 35-second clock.
Oh, can you enlighten us a little bit?
Well, I think it needs to come from Mueller, because the way he explained it to me was brilliant. But at the end of the day, so what he was saying was they normally had a lot more time between plays because the 20-second clock was a little bit more random, right? Depending on how long it took the ball. Yeah, now he said that it moves regardless of how quick you're moving. And he said that, they're not able, he said the defenses are fine, right? Because defense travels but they said the offense, they really need to if they advance the ball, they need to get moving, get set, and get ready. And he said that it's the receivers too. They've got to line up. So it was really interesting. And it was just sort of just a side conversation. But one of the things, Dave, I think we need to do next week is really spend some time with Mueller and ask him how, because the way he just sort of talked about the implications of it was interesting to me. But again, defensive football travels, right? So I don't think the defensive side knows it or recognizes it as much. A lot of the signals these days in the CFL come in from the sidelines anyways. So if you're a guy like Josh Bell and things are moving quickly, you can still get your next defensive call in because the down and distance. I think that the main piece, and this is going to be interesting with the 35-second clock and the way it's moving, the main piece is how are teams going to handle moving in and out of their different personnel groups.
Last year when teams had success against the Riders, remember they went tempo?
Yeah, they pushed the ball and they didn't allow guys to move in and out.
Yeah, so now with the 35-second clock.
Might improve, or sorry, not improve, but there might be more teams just trying to get after it, right? Yeah, lay it down.
Let's go. I know you were riding around in the cart with them yesterday, Luke, but I want to hear this clip, and then Dave, you can talk about it as well. It's Trevor Harris talking about how camp has been different than the previous three with the Riders.
I mean, the depth of talent here is pretty great. I really feel like this team is highly focused. Haven't felt any sort of contentment. I've really felt guys really want to come out here and compete every single day, and guys from teams that have come in from other teams have mentioned the level of competition in camp has been pretty high compared to what they've been. So it's been really fun to kind of hear that, and I know we've got a great group of guys that want to come out and compete and get better every day.
Familiarity, though. Right, too, Dave, right? Like you said, it's third one around. That's got to be a big part of it.
Yeah, and last year's team was based and built on continuity, right? That was the big word, was continuity. We're going to have that continuity year over year. This year there's a little bit of turnover, but that turnover primarily has been on the defensive side. So you can really see, I think that the timing is starting to connect with the Roughriders on offense, where maybe it was a little slow to get going at the start of the week.
Yeah, I think you're right. And again, I think that the most important thing right now is that your best players that you're going to be leaning on in week one all the way through the year have been your best players in camp, right? And I've said it before, say it again. Trevor Harris, Jameer Thurman, on and on. AJ Ouellette's been good. But one of the things that I have been impressed too, as fast as the offense seems to be moving and collaborating and getting things done, one of the things that I have noticed, and it's led to some interceptions, especially against 7, right?
Yeah.
Is that the defense is communicating really well, especially at the linebacker to secondary level. I feel like the communication has been great there, and I think that that's why you're starting to see the defense gel a little bit, despite losing some real key players.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at that defensive front. It looks really different from the championship defensive front, from 2025. But one thing they're doing is they're communicating really well, and great communication is going to give guys who don't have that chemistry a chance to develop it. And that's one of the things 7 is really high on, is building chemistry as a team, especially in camp.
Okay, in hour 2, when we have our get together for the Red Zone Sports Bar in Saskatoon, let's go into the game. What you guys are interested to see in Calgary. Weather doesn't look like it's going to be that bad on Monday, so we can do that in hour 2 if that's all right with you guys. Quickly, any May long weekend stories? That's how we're giving away our first scratch ticket today. Dave, you're a Sasky guy. You must, back in the day in high school, I don't know if you heard my embarrassing story earlier, driving through PA with my mom, and all my buddies and their girlfriends were in the car next to me going to Emma, and I was like, oh boy. But snow camping down in Weyburn as a kid?
None of which that I can think have reached the statute of limitations. So no, nothing. Always good. Very clean and healthy time with the family and friends.
That's BS. But anyways, I can't think of anything. First of all, the reason I can't think of any cool stories because I'm so confused. We've got so many holidays in Canada right now. It seems like we're going on a holiday every third week.
Yeah.
There's something being celebrated, right? And I'm not saying that that's wrong or right because it's 2026, but I'm just saying that, like, man, there's a lot of things that we're taking long weekends for these days. So it's hard to.
You know that National Caesar Day yesterday was not a holiday, right? Like,
what? Oh, that's I didn't know that. I took a holiday for it. Once you advised me.
I said it'd be nice if we could defer the May long weekend. If the weather looks the way it is, we could defer that Monday to some, a nice sunny day in June or July.
Wow. I actually like that, but I think that folks in Regina is mainly a government bureaucratic town, right? I think that they would take advantage of it. They would just defer all their holidays, and then we'd get people that are just out of office for like 3 months straight, right? You know what I mean? I'm going to defer this one. Because here's the other thing. If you don't have a strong HR department in your organization, people will like defer. I'm going to defer Monday for 2 weeks, and then they'll take it off anyways because they know that they're HR part. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I've seen that. I'm not saying it happens at the Canadian Red Cross at all with any of my team or other teams, but
I was employed by a company that was nice enough to give us our birthday day off.
Ooh.
And a colleague of mine, his birthday was a week before mine in December, but he deferred the holiday to July every year.
That's ridiculous. Grow up.
I know a guy that worked at Chuck E. Cheese once too. He got his birthday off. Okay, hour 2, fellas. We'll catch up. There they are, Dave and Luke, joining us from the Red Zone Sports Bar, and they bring us our training camp reports here in the Sports Cage, located behind the Saskatoon Travel Lodge. Break time. It is the Sports Cage on this Friday for Nelson Holmes on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. All right, Western Hockey League final. It's do or die. They got to stay alive. Prince Albert Raiders trying to take this thing back to Everett. 7:30 puck drop. Everett leads 3-1. We're going to touch on that in hour 2 of the program. Canada in action at the World Hockey Championships. They open up with a 5-3 win over Sweden. PGA Championship underway outside of Philadelphia, and leading Maverick McNeely right now, -5. Alex Smalley, Jim's nephew, -4. Major League Baseball tonight, Toronto, Detroit, 4:45. That is your sports ticker in hour 1 for Reliance Heat. Like I said, we're coming back in hour 2. Lots of local sports. We're going to go back to the fellas in Saskatoon for training camp report. We're also going to talk PA Raiders and an interesting football game coming up in Lumsden, Saskatchewan on Monday. It's a Sports Cage from the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. It is Friday. May long weekend. What weather. Hey, it's for Nelson Homes, building home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Colson's with me. Thanks for making time today. Thanks for all the text messages. SportsCage listeners coming through, because that's how you get a chance to win the first Rider Scratch and Win today, is by texting. Roscoe sent a picture of Tobin Lake. Woof, snow up there. Kevin, he got the assignment right. Made long story. I remember camping at Rowan's and getting buckled with tarps off on the Saturday, then waking up, opening the tent, and a bunch of snow on Sunday. Kevin's in to win the tickets. Chad says 1995. What a year. Can we go back to 1995, please? After a Sunday night of taking in oil wrestling at the Moosehead Inn, slept in car at White Bear, woke up 4 inches of snow on the car. Jeffrey also had some pretty high winds, reaching 110, doing a little bit of damage, bringing down a couple of power poles, kind of tearing the local town's grain elevator to pieces. That was there's nothing else to that story. Okay, but we'll give you an entry, Jeffrey, as well. Dean. No, that wasn't Dean. I thought Dean wanted to get in to the ticket. He's trying to talk about rules. James wants to, if you're listening, you want to listen to the Rider game, it's right here on 620 CKRM Monday. 1 p.m. is kickoff, so we start 3 hours before that with all of our good stuff. And camping with 2 kids, rain, Saturday, sunburnt, Sunday, a wet birthday cake, Monday, awful, don't camp on the long weekend. Harvey sending in that one. 936-6262. Prairieland Rentals text line. Prairieland Rentals can rent you. You know what I need tonight? Coaching flag football, I just thought of. I should go to Prairieland Rentals. A sideline heater. Although our games are only 15 minutes long, it's going to be cold out there. I wish I would have brought mitts or gloves. I think I do have a rain jacket, though. We're ready to go? Okay, big game tonight in Prince Albert. Western Pizza. No need to cook tonight. It's gross out. Order some Western Pizza, a wheel, any of the Greek favorites you love. Joining us again on the show, Martin Ring, member of the Prince Albert Sports Hall of Fame, color commentator for over 20 years with the PA Raiders. Martin, did you get any swings in? The course, you said Cook was opening.
We opened yesterday, and I actually played a round yesterday afternoon. And today, she's shut down. We had to cancel our tournament this weekend. We got about 3 inches of snow laying on the ground. It sucks. 3
inches of snow.
Oh, yeah.
up in PA. Wow, that's too bad, because I know that was a big tournament. That's unfortunate, but it's going to be packed. It's a Friday night at the Hauser. Raiders need to win against Everett. Let's go back to Game 4, though. I'm watching it. Obviously, the wraparound, the ref loses sight of the puck. Raiders score. That's the one that really bothers me. I don't know about you. The other one, the net is off. But just that sequence, and within a minute or less than a minute, I don't know if I've ever seen that in a big game where the ref's got to make both of those calls.
Yeah, the second one can still live with that one. I mean, that was just at the time, the speed of the play was just incredible. And original thought was Everett ran into their own goaltender. And then when you see it on the video, it's like, okay, no, we pushed off and fine. But it was the one just previous to that. That's the killer. Ref loses sight of the puck, blows the whistle a little early, puck pops out. Bennett Kelly comes in from the blue line and blasts it into the net, and it's a disallowed goal. I would go back as well, though. There was a goal scored, blatant offside, absolutely blown call, and that one really took the wind out of the sails of the Raiders earlier on.
And then how Everett scores with the 2 guys losing an edge within 2 seconds, same part of the ice. You just don't see it at that level of hockey. Just unfortunate.
Yeah, it really was unfortunate, and especially the two players involved. You don't see that from them at all, ever. And they both lose an edge, and it just opens things up. And Orsulek was left last man standing, and there wasn't much he could do. Then there's an empty netter. I mean, the score doesn't tell the whole story because there is an empty netter. Braden Kuss does such a great job defensively to chase that one down. Looks like he's knocked the puck off the stick. They just can't get it off of his stick. And all of a sudden it's in the net and really seals the deal for Everett. Obviously, the Raiders have their backs against the wall.
Yeah, and not to get too generic here, but do the Raiders try and do anything different tonight? Do they change anything up? Or because the games have been so close, although Everett is an amazing hockey team, you and I have talked about that off mic as well. Do the Raiders try anything different tonight, Martin?
I don't think so. What I've seen out of this hockey club all year, they're resilient. They bounce back. They've fought through some adversity. Gorzinski was reinserted in the lineup. I'm still not sure he's 100%. He did score a goal the other night, but I'm still not sure he's 100%. I'm curious to see if they don't go back with Connor Howe. He's a young 16-year-old, but you need that grit right now, and you have to dig deep. We've never really been a team that is throwing the lines into a blender. They've never done that. The 3 2-minute media timeouts through a period have really changed the game.
That's funny you mentioned that, because I remember talking to someone at the Memorial Cup that was going to the Memorial Cup, maybe when it was here and the Pats and Acadie Bathurst. They said that changes the game because your horses rest and you get them right back out. It's almost like minor hockey or senior hockey.
It is, so one of the things that Ryan McDonald has done extremely well as the Raiders head coach is he's used the depth. He's had 4 lines, and he's been able to just kind of open the gate and let the next crew out. But when you've got these 2-minute timeouts, now you have to watch and see what the opposition is doing. And when you've got a team like an Everett with the horses that they've got, when you can go back and ride on that horse, give them an extra whip, and away they go. 2 minutes is a long time to rest up, and vice versa. I mean, it should work in favor of the Raiders, but they've been a team that has been used to cycling through those 4 lines.
I don't want to bury the lead here, but let's be honest. Game 4, I'm at game 3, and I think the take home was around 70 grand, maybe 75 and all that. We have you on. Harry actually said, oh, that's good karma for Martin. We have you on. We talk about the 50-50, and then it was you and your mother that won it in game 4?
Yes, it was. I have to admit, I mean, cat's out of the bag. Me and my mom have been splitting through the playoffs. Mom was buying $10 tickets. I said, listen, that's not going to cut it. We got to get the $50 tickets. And she says, well, I can't do $50 a game. I said, that's fine. We'll split it. We'll go 25 each game. I bought the ticket on Wednesday night, and Mike Sissons is behind me in the press box or the broadcast booth, and we go to our last media timeout, and he taps me on the shoulder. Buy a ticket tonight, Marty? I said, yeah, I did. Here. It was pretty funny. $65,000. It's pretty good.
What are the plans?
We're probably going to look at a trip. We're going to have to do something. I mean, yeah, it's fantastic. But I mean, I'll tell you what, that Raider 50-50 draw for the playoffs, it's been phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And thank you to the entire province, because it's open to the entire province. I know that we've got ticket sales going down to Swift Current, Maple Creek, like it's all over the province. It's been fantastic. I think Raider fans are going to have to bone up next year and maybe purchase some tickets for Swift Current and Moose Jaw when their 50-50s go up.
There we go. That's right. Pay it forward. No, I got the text message. I got the text message, came in about an hour ago. Just the reminder, because I've already bought. Hey, get your Raider 50-50 for sure. You got to be in the mixer. $50 for a chance to win that. And again, people can just go to the Prince Albert Raiders website, and then it directs you there. Again, if you're in Saskatchewan dealing with this crap May-long weekend weather, go buy a 50-50 ticket for sure. And in closing, you know what, Martin? Not to be a Nostradamus or think this feels like one of those games though that the series hockey, it's so tight, and then all of a sudden one game it's just like, well, how did it just snowballs and there's some sort of blowout, hopefully on the Raiders side. I'm still thinking we might be in for one of those.
I still have that gut feeling. I hope I'm jumping on the bus and getting on the charter tomorrow morning to go back to Everett for another crack at them in Everett. But, obviously their backs are against the wall. Everett hasn't lost 2 games in a row all season, which is phenomenal. But their goaltender has been fantastic. He's got a goals against of 1.95 or something right now. So, he's been terrific, but never count out the Raiders, as they say in hockey, right? 7-game series, the 4th game is the toughest one to win.
I saw that. It's funny. I texted Cliff Mapes when I saw the boys getting off that charter the other day, and I was like, Summit Air. I know that plane. Funny story. Me and 42 guys from the Royal Regina took that to Bandon Dunes a few years ago, drank it out of booze on the way down. Wouldn't expect anything else. Have a fun one tonight, Marty. Let's hope it goes back to Everett. Chip in a chair, right? Now you got to win 3 games somehow. Starts with the one tonight. Appreciate you doing this again.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invite. I was just texting with our old pal Brian Munns yesterday. We're possibly going to get a golf game in June. So it's been a blast.
Yeah, right on. There he is. He's, like I said, he's a member of the Prince Albert Sports Hall of Fame as well, color commentator for the Raiders. Martin Ring joining us here on the SportsCage. We got it all covered here on the SportsCage. We're going from local hockey, the Big Tilt in PA. We're going into local football. Joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Luke Dunville from the Lumsden High School. But coming up this weekend, he's head coach of Team Saskatchewan for the Challenge Cup. Luke, thanks for making time here. And I saw this online, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting and cool. It's Saskatchewan versus Manitoba coming up Monday at the Lumsden High School, 9-man football. How did this all come about?
Well, this is just a bit of shifting gears from a game we started back in 2004. Bill Ritz from Foam Lake started what was called the Sask Bowl, which was a 9-man all-star game between Saskatchewan and North Dakota. And then we did it for about 14 years. And then North Dakota just kind of ran out of interest, and but our neighbors to the east there, Manitoba, were interested, and so it just kind of shifted to that, and now it's just an interprovincial game here between 2 friendly neighbors. Right on.
Okay, so how many athletes are we talking about here from Saskatchewan, and are we kind of going border to border, north, south, all in between?
Yeah, so we have a total of 34 kids on the roster, and they're made up from any schools that play in the 4 like Saskatchewan High School Athletics 9-man conferences. So we got kids from Melfort, Moose Jaw, Esterhazy. Like I said, we have most teams represented this year. I'm just trying to think, like, as far as they go, Humboldt, us, of course. So Indian Head, and it goes all over. We don't have a Shaunavon one this year from that southwest corner.
Okay,
but
So would this be something that we're going to see some scouts at, or there's some players that are already locked in to maybe junior programs or playing football elsewhere next year when their high school career wraps up, and then I would take it for some, this is their last football game?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Some kids, because spring camps for both university teams like U Sports and the Prairie Junior Football Conference have already had their camps. So they've already attended those, and then so some of our players are moving on and playing at the next level come this fall. Some, this is their last game, and over the years there has been kids where coaches they can make it, especially for us being close to Regina, the Thunder or the Rams get a couple guys out, and some diamonds in the rough have been found too, where they weren't signed, and then they end up getting an opportunity to continue their football career in the fall.
Absolutely, yeah. No, you'd think that for sure. How many times do you guys get together to practice here? Because that's always tough when it comes to football, right? Implementing plays, and I'm sure there's probably video sessions done too with kids from all over the province. But how many times have you guys had a chance to get together?
Yeah, so we had the tryout camp, which from year to year, it just depends if it's a 1-day or a 2-day camp. So we get 2 practices in per day. So while we're doing tryouts, we're also kind of installing the systems and stuff like that already. So they get 2 to 4 practices at tryout, and then we're starting this evening. So 1 on Friday, the 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, and then the game's Monday. So we're looking at the minimum of 7 practices, and sometimes we get up to 8 or 9 before the game.
We've been talking on the show about May long weekend weather, and sometimes it's just juicy, and other times it's exactly what we got right now. So, of course, for the kids tonight, getting out there, not the greatest weather, but no snow yet in southern Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I mean, our trial camp was right before that foot of snow that came and Lumsden Regina, and we had to battle that for the tryouts. And then, 3 days ago we had plus 27, and on Tuesday and Wednesday, and now we're looking at single digits. So it's nothing you can do about it, but I'd sure like to luck out once in a while and get those plus 20 days for helps with the crowd and everything.
Is there a record how Sask has done against Manitoba throughout the years?
Yeah. So we had a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID there. So I believe 19 was the first Challenge Cup, and then 2021 were off. So then 22, 23, and 25. So it's 4-1 Saskatchewan. They beat us in 24. They had a really good team. It was a great competitive game, and we fell just a bit short. So lots of the games have been competitive, but we've been on the winning side a few more times. But it's always exciting no matter how it goes. Right on, no, for sure. So it's at the Lumsden High School on Monday, 1 p.m. We got 50-50 at a concession. What can we tell people? How do we get people out here and to watch some great 9-man football? Yeah, just like I said, it's at the high school. We're not charging. It's just free to come. And we have the canteen. We're doing a 50-50 draw. Programs are there so you can see all the players and what high schools they're from, what high schools they're representing. And, for not having much heat this spring, the fields are looking pretty good. They're nice and green, and the grass has come up good. So we should have good conditions to play the game in, and then the weather will just be what it'll be. But the game itself will be exciting, competitive, high-caliber football.
Should we name drop any of the guys for maybe quarterbacks or on either side of the ball from around the area? For Lumsden, for Saskatchewan, we do have our quarterback, which we were provincial champions this year for 9-man football, so we had a grade 12 senior playing for us. So Sam Thompson is one of the quarterbacks there. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Vanier, representing Vanier Collegiate and Moose Jaw, Tucker McKechnie. He's carrying on his career with the Thunder this fall too. So on the defensive side of the ball, and we have others as well too. Yeah. So I did put you on the spot there. I apologize. No, and yeah, you know what? It sounds like it's going to be a great event, though, Luke. And this is great stuff. This is truly Sasky. Thanks for joining us again, and thanks for doing everything that you do for minor football and high school football as well. Oh, well, thanks for putting us on the show and getting the information out there. Hopefully, we can draw a big crowd. And myself and all the other coaches on staff, we just do it just because we love coaching football, and so we enjoy it as much as the kids who are playing the game. So it's awesome. It goes down in Lumsden on Monday, 1:00. Get out there. Why? Great game. Nine-a-side football. If you've never watched nine-a-side football, I'm a big fan of it. Get out there to Lumsden, support Saski versus Manitoba. That was Luke Dunville joining us, head coach of Team Sask. We are on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. It's a Sports Cage, and we're also streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. All right, clutch performer, Colson Fire.
Got to go remind myself what they are. Hold on. Okay, so NFL teams were releasing their schedules yesterday.
Yeah.
I got two that I really appreciated out of there. The Bucks did a pretty good one. They did, and I'll show little bits and pieces of them here, but they did Baywatch, except instead of, attractive lifeguards. It was Bert Kirscher and the offensive linemen who were the lifeguards. And running through the beach, running over people's sandcastles with team flags in them. So.
Oh, geez. I heard like so many of these were so funny. I haven't watched them.
Yeah, so that's just a few pieces of this one here. Tampa Bay is a good one. And the Raiders did a good job too here. I'm trying to pull it up. But basically, as we know, Kirk Cousins for Fernando Mendoza. 2 peas in a pod.
Mm-hmm.
So they had them go full stepbrothers here. And as you can see, Fernando's standing on the field. Kirk joins him here. And then, where's my audio?
Hey.
Full stepbrothers.
Kirk.
I don't want to play anymore in case we get flagged, but I think they did the nickname bit there, and then they even did here. Look, they got pictures taken, like the stereotypical Sears catalog pictures. I'm
gonna have to go back. Like I said, I haven't watched that one yet. I'm definitely gonna go back and watch it. And any more?
I feel like we got to give one to Mitch Marner.
Oh, that's sick! Last night that goal.
Yeah.
Wreck hockey. Look at this.
Like,
if you're watching the stream, you see it. If you're in Radio Land and you didn't see Mitch Marner's first goal of the game, it was early last night too. Go back and watch it.
Yeah,
the stall is he just drank a bunch of Cristal. Look at that move. Oh, filthy, as the kids say.
Literally.
For Kellen Solar in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. If you're thinking about putting some solar up, saving some money, maybe on the house, the farm, the cottage, they can come out and give you a quote. Kellen Solar, family-run company in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. All right, quickly, sprinkle of the day for sportsselect.com. Generate your QR code online. Take it to your Lotto Spot retailer. Scan it, and there you go. Must be 18 plus to play. Curious here, if you go to futures, we talk about futures lots, Sports Select. The Stanley Cup winner futures, obviously the Colorado Avalanche are the front runners, paying $225. Then Carolina at $250. Vegas, a little banged up at $650. Montreal is at $9. Maybe there's some Cinderella value there, and then the Buffalo Sabres, they've pretty much written them off at $28. So
I heard our buddy John, the Habs fan, called in this. I don't know if it's this morning or one of the mornings this week with Cody and Gloria. Says we should all be talking Habs now.
Yeah, well, just settle down, John. You're halfway there, not even. Here's the ultimate Sports Select, and then basketball. Cleveland, Detroit. Very interesting. I don't follow it, but I know this is an interesting one tonight. Cleveland at home, 185, but that means they got to win by 5. So maybe take the tie there. And then San Antonio, Minnesota. San Antonio, the favorite going into Minnesota there. Make your picks online, like I said, or go to your Lotto Spot retailer and fill them out. Every bet is 100% legal. Chance of winning cash in hand, and must be 18 plus to play. Sprinkle of the day for sportsselect.com. Okay, we're going to go to break, and then the fellas are standing by. We're going to go back up to our training camp report in Saskatoon. It is the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Heavy metal music, bringing it back on Friday for Nelson Holmes. Keep the text messages coming in. Your wacky May-long weekend weather stories for a chance to win scratch ticket, a Rider Nation scratch ticket. That's how we're giving away the first one. Colson's got a load of text messages to go to get in the wheel of winning. We'll give another one away somehow, some way in the program that we're halfway done for this Friday. Let's go back out. Western Pizza Guest Hotline, but it's the training camp report for Red Zone Sports Bar, located behind the Saskatoon Travelodge. Dave Thomas and Luc Mullinder are joining us. I was wondering today, with the weather the way it was, you guys weren't outside much for practice, though, were you?
I was running wind sprints on the sideline. I don't know what you were doing.
Look,
I thought you were lifting or something. Yeah.
Oh, I got my lift in, but that was before practice.
Oh, okay.
When I got to practice, I sat in the media booth.
Yes, you did.
All windows closed, didn't move.
Because I was going to say.
Listen, I don't got to be tough anymore. My playing days are over. All that suck it up stuff, that was only for the field. And now I don't need to suck it up anymore, so I can sit in the warmth.
And it, as a bald gentleman, that's tricky. That's cold up there. I've always thought, man, if it's cold, rainy, windy out, and you don't have any hair, that's not good.
Got to rock the hoodies, man. That's why you got to always be prepared. Either have a hoodie or just have a Scully in your back pocket. It's like a gang. It's like a bandana when you're in a gang. You just pull it out, throw it on your head. You're good.
That's right. Okay, we got the game Monday. I know you got your 3 keys always. Can you give us 1 key to the game on Monday, Luc?
Oh, my 3 keys, and if you've been listening to any broadcast I'm involved in for the last 10 years, my 3 keys for the first exhibition game are always the same anyway. So, okay. I'll say this. I won't blow them all, but I will say this. If you want to make the club, you need to know what to do, period. Right? These coaches understand that you're a good football player. Right? You're a good football player, and the reason why you're a good football player is because you're in a pro football team's training camp or trying to earn a spot. But if you want to make it on this team, coaches need to know that you know what to do, and then more importantly, when the opportunity comes up, you can execute.
Do you remember your first preseason game?
I do.
Wes talks about what was it? He counted them up and there was 12 on the field and he went running off because he forgot that there was supposed to be 12 on the field.
Yeah.
For you, was it like just a blur? Did everything happen fast, right? You talk about wanting to play fast, but obviously you have to absorb what's going on.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, man. And I'm not going to lie. I actually struggled my first training camp because of the fact that I was having trouble staying with the playbook. And it wasn't a hard playbook by any means, but I remember sitting in Drew Green, Big Brother Drew, him and Nate after camp. I remember sitting in his car with him after meetings, and Nate just looked at me and he said, "Look, if you want to make this team, you got to know what to do, man." Because I was having a lot of trouble with the playbook. So when I went into that first exhibition game, I just wanted to make sure that I knew where to be when I was supposed to be there. I think I made a tackle very early on in the reps that I was getting. I wasn't right because I was a new rookie, so I think I started playing in the third quarter. They called a little quick slant into the A gap. I lined up in the B gap, and I got to slant back into the A, and fortunately the ball came right to me. The running back came right to me. That calmed me down a little bit, right? It slowed down the game a little bit, but I went into that first game just not wanting to make a mental error. And this is simple over and under stuff. Yeah. Right? Like over defense, under defense. I was screwing that up. And I don't know why. I guess, my IQ wasn't as high as it needed to be as a youngster. I was a little bit of a meathead when I first got here, so that was probably a lot to do with it. And I'm just glad that fortunately 9 years later, right, I figured it out.
Dave, you've talked about it throughout the week. We're expecting a young squad going to Calgary.
That would be my anticipation, is I think that you're going to go ahead and use this first game as the ultimate evaluation tool that you've got. You go ahead and, again, you can travel as many as you want, dress as many as you want, so you let the guys that are pushing for spots, and I was going to say guys that are on the bubble, but I would say guys that are pushing for spots, because there's some guys that are pushing for playing time, and deservedly so, and give them the reps. And Coach Mace kind of alluded to it today when I was talking with him. He said, yeah, you know what, let's see what happens. This is what we play for, is the games. Let's give them an opportunity, and we'll see how they can run with it or not.
We have that clip. I'm just going to let Colson cue it up. It's Mace number 3, Dave, asking him about evaluating players on Monday.
Yeah, that's the separator. We're going to be relying on some guys to go out there and jockey for position. Ultimately, it comes down to executing your job and making the plays that come to you, and then sometimes being a ball player and maybe making one that you shouldn't. But we want guys to be dialed in their jobs, no doubt. But don't be afraid of mistakes that you ain't even made yet. So go play ball.
You echo that, Luc?
Absolutely. Go play ball. Go have fun, right? This is not a window that remains open for long for some people, right? So just know what you do so you can go have fun, right? You're stressed out if you don't know the calls. Yeah. And I'm telling you, they put in a ton in these last week, but they haven't put as much in as they normally would have, though, because normally you have a little bit of time between the first day of camp and an exhibition season. I'll tell you what, this brings me totally off subject, and I'm sorry. What the CFL has done to the Saskatchewan Roughriders is criminal in terms of having them have a 3-week break after their second exhibition game. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I know it's because we're trying to accommodate this schedule, but the fact that the Saskatchewan Roughriders started on Sunday, main camp, have a game on Monday, okay? So there's some prep in there, and then immediately turn around, play their second game on Sunday, and then have 3 weeks, that is absolutely atrocious. It's atrocious. And I'm not blaming anybody. It's just, well, I am blaming, but I'm not pointing the finger at any certain person. But it's ridiculous. Somebody needs to look at the schedule the way it plays out and be like, oh, wait a second, hold on. There's a 3-week break here for the Saskatchewan Roughriders between the second game and game 1 that they play. We can't have that. Adjust something. Adjust something to where maybe it's 2 weeks. 3 weeks is atrocious, and I feel bad. And I told Mark Mueller that this is ridiculous. What are you guys going to do? How do you do it? Right? How do you? Yeah. And the other thing too is, right? And the other thing too is like players go home. Right? These guys haven't even had a chance to earn any money yet, and now you're gonna isolate them for 3 weeks, no game check, nothing, right? Like, come on, man. CFL's got to do better. CFL's got to do better. Sorry, I don't even know why I thought about that, but then I remembered that I was not happy with that part.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought it up because it totally jumps out at you that it's like, that they couldn't have figured out a better way around this. Which scheduling did all this stem from?
World Cup.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're going to use the World Cup as an excuse all the way through the. I'm not saying we.
No,
yeah. Yeah, they're going to use the World Cup as an excuse all the way through this year. If something, the World Cup.
But it's it's not just the World Cup, right? Because Edmonton is going to have friendlies that are going to be played there at Commonwealth Stadium, right? So the football team can't be on the natural grass that's being installed there right now, right?
Oh, look at us, we're soccer players. You can't play on our natural grass. I hate this. They're soccer players are the worst. Okay, guys, just go out and play this kids game and let everybody else do it. You know, it's that same thing with TFC in Toronto, right?
Okay.
And the Argos, how TFC used to complain that the Argos were tearing up their soccer field. Oh, poor widow girls. They can't play on their pristine soccer field. Man, we gotta be able to.
Cards and letters can go to Luke.
What'd you say?
I'm
just saying. It's ridiculous. We're making all these exceptions for the World Cup, right? We got a league to play, man. We got to just do better. That's all I'm saying.
It must be the Friday before the long weekend or something. Like,
yeah,
you're okay, right?
I think I'm hangry. Right. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
You're at a sports bar.
Sorry to all the girls that play sports because you're tougher than soccer players are.
Yeah, and exactly. Okay, well, let's get this thing back on track. Dave, anything when it comes to the young guys, and do you have keys to the game, or can I ask you, what are you interested to see on Monday?
Interested to see the rotation on the defensive line up front. Caleb Sanders has been nicked up throughout camp. That means, unfortunately for Caleb, that other guys are going to get an opportunity to take his reps. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to factor. I want to see what the Riders are going to do in their receiving core as well. Who are they going to bring? Who are they going to play? Like, do you play Kean Schaefer-Baker and Samuel Emelis? Do you let the other guys go ahead and step up? There's some Americans that have made a statement, and the ratio goes out the window, by the way, for the preseason, so you don't have to worry about it. Daniel Weeb is at a strong camp. Deshaun Mims has had an opportunity to play. So
Malcolm Bell, I want to see Malcolm Bell play. I'm excited, and not just because he's a Spartan. I was watching him a lot today, and you can tell actually he's talking out there. He knows. Hey, listen, may not know everything that's in right now, but he knows in order to set himself to be in a good position, he knows to talk to veterans and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Going back and forth with guys like DeMarcus Fields every time they take the rep, but that's what you got to do. Make yourself be able to play fast, and again, being able to play fast is based on you knowing what to do in the exhibition game.
I'm curious to see the crowd, and I'm curious to see the Stamp fans that text into the show, how much stock they're putting in this preseason game on May 18th.
What are the expectations of Stamps, by the way? Like are they? I know there's like all these preseason rankings. Have they put preseason ranking out? I'm just glad that Hutch kid's not playing anymore. And I hope he doesn't come back to the CFL unless he plays for the Riders, because that guy was awesome, and he wrecked the Riders games every time they played.
And remember when Flo or Malade went down, he's not fully recovered yet.
He's still not recovered?
So, again, I wish him well. He's an amazing player, and he is such a difference maker on that Stampeder defense. So I'll be curious to see what they brought in. They weren't as active as they had been the previous year in free agency, of course, when they brought in Vernon Adams Jr. So, but this is the second year for VA in that offense.
I'm telling you, that the loss of Huffnagel.
Yeah, it's true.
Couple text messages coming in. Travis, I'm just going to just throw this out there. He says, just because you can't run 90 minutes straight and New Zealand isn't going to win a game doesn't mean soccer sucks, Luke. Haha. That's Travis on the text line.
Actually, I really like soccer. I love the World Cup. They're just soft. There's nothing exciting, right? And by the way, you show me a soccer player that runs for 90 straight minutes, and I'll show you some beachfront property in Regina that you can live in for the summer that I'll just personally donate to you. It doesn't happen. Those guys aren't moving for 90 straight minutes. They're hanging out.
Singing George Strait. I was getting excited.
No. And yes, the World Cup. And by the way, Travis, get his contact info. I got a hundo that New Zealand beats Egypt.
Whoa. Travis, you can DM him on the socials or something. I'm not getting involved in any gambling. I'm turning over a new leaf.
Attaboy.
Eli, I want to read your text, Eli, but I'm not. He doesn't like the game of soccer as well. Travis says you're on. I'll take that bet all day long. Pay Barney for his Western pizza that you lost last year first.
Oh, Travis, you know what? I've been asking Barney to go, and he keeps blowing me off. That's the worst type of dude to owe a bet to, right? Like you reach out, hey, you want to go? I want to get you. And then he's just like, oh, I'm busy. That's how he big times me every single time. Oh, I'm busy.
You're never in the city that you have oceanfront property in or whatever you said. You're never here. That's the problem, brother.
I don't want to put you on blast, but don't make me throw our text messages up. Every time I'm like, hey, Barney, you want to go to lunch, blah, 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 get this wheel out the way. Barney's like, oh, man, I got too much stuff to do.
Nah.
Big time.
I don't know about that. Okay, Dave, before we let you go, we got this Nelson Lacombo. You had a chance to sit down with him. Can you throw to that and tee that up for us?
Well, I don't like putting players on the spot right away, but unfortunately I kind of did with Nelson because he had to make a real big decision when it comes to the early days of training camp and, the success that he had last year and how his off season looked. So I put that to him early as I know he's getting excited for a big year in green and white. Nelson Lacombo, first and foremost, congratulations to you and Mrs. Lacombo. A heck of a change in the offseason.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super happy with this chapter that we're on right now, and I'm happy to see where it goes.
I'm going to be the smart guy and not make you qualify which was better, the Grey Cup victory or the wedding in the offseason. I'm better than that, but it's great to see you smiling, great to see you flying around on the field. How has it felt thus far through camp?
Yeah, no, don't do that now because that'd be tough. No, but it's been great so far. It's nice to get back in rhythm with the guys and seeing things play out the way it has. It's fun to fly around always, and always nice to be back in Saskatoon. So,
tell me about this team because you reached the ultimate goal last year. And people have already been talking about repeating and all that stuff. But is it that easy that you just pick up where you left off?
I would not say it's that easy. I think it's refresh and it's a reload really, and treating every day, every week, just to get better. That's really the goal for every day, is to get better, to improve individually and as a team. So you attack every day just to win. That's kind of the mentality you have to have. So.
You look at your roster, and there are going to be new players in new places this year, some which are familiar, having been in the system for years on the practice roster or developing time and working their way into the lineup. How do you gel as a unit, and how do you get that done efficiently and effectively as we're just days away from the opening of preseason?
Yeah, no, it's just getting guys to figure out what we're all about, really. A lot of those guys that will be filling in some of those spots have been here for a long time. They know what it takes to be champions, and they know what it takes to win the day. So every day is just bettering themselves, bettering yourself individually as a player, and as a player on the team. So that's really how you attack that.
You know what it takes as a veteran in this league to be prepared for week number 1. It's a different preseason with 2 quick games, then a couple of bye weeks before you get another game. How are you going to make sure that you are ready and set to go in week number 1?
Yeah, for one, it's just making sure that you're mentally ready. You got everything in your mind as far as the football knowledge stuff, and being dialed in the playbook. And then also making sure that your body's right. Like we have two quick games, and then we have a lot of time to make sure that the body is good for week 1, and and then we can play ball.
Do you have any expectations or wants when it comes to the number of reps throughout the preseason?
No expectations. I'm just ready for whatever the coach is asking me, I'll go do. So.
Lastly, the last preseason game is going to be on the turf that we're standing on. You've played on this turf before. Is it special being able to play one more game at Griffith Stadium?
It'll be cool, for sure. Last time I played was in 2019 here, so it's been a long time. And I'm sure it's going to be packed. So I'm hoping, I'm excited. I'm excited for this opportunity to get to play a football game here. It'll bring back a lot of memories. So, it'll be cool.
And as a proud alumnus of the Huskies, I'm sure you've told your teammates about what to expect, right?
Oh yeah, they know. They're ready for sea of green out there, so it'll be fun.
Any togas are you expecting?
Oh, actually, I don't know about that. Maybe that'd be cool though. That'd be cool. A little bit of a homecoming throwback. That'd be cool.
In all seriousness, Nelson, congratulations on the wedding, and we wish you all the best this season.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Welcome back to the Cage for Nelson Holmes on this Friday. Home packages and RTMs for over 65 years. Colson is with me. Let's go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. We're joined, we don't do it on Friday a lot, by Brian Raymond from Flowing Springs Golf Course. I'm just sitting here watching the PGA Championship, getting the itch to play. Now, the weather's not great today, Brian, but tomorrow that looks like there could be a windy window for people to get out there and golf.
You know what? Everybody's figured that out already. We're starting to take a fair number of bookings for tomorrow. We still have lots of bookings, so that's not a problem. But it looks like that's going to be the best day of the weekend for sure.
Okay, what can you tell people? Just is there the walk special late? Is there anything on Saturdays?
Oh, yeah. We have the same specials every day. Like, for instance, after 3 o'clock, it's only $40.50 to come out and play 18 holes. After 6 o'clock, it's $23.50. You can play 9 or more, depending on how late it is. And don't forget, we have our driving range. We have 3 sizes of baskets. So, this time of year, some people are kind of, being a little cautious, and they should be. You don't want to jump into this too quick. But we have a special going on with the driving range right now. If you come out and buy a large basket, that's $17, we'll give you a certificate so that you can come back any day after 5 o'clock and get that same basket for half price and a beautiful 7-inch hot dog for $1.
Jeez, there we go again, getting me hungry. That's a heck of a deal. Hit some balls and go back, hit another big bucket for half the price and chow down on a hot dog. Okay, I got to ask you here. Tomorrow night, what confidence level for your Habs?
You know what? I was actually confident last night. If you remember the 4th game, we got goalied, is basically what happened. The Habs got goalied because halfway through that game, the Habs took over the game. I mean, they outshot them badly, but they couldn't buy a goal. But last night, everything came through, and I think that going back to Montreal and can you imagine what it would be like in that building with 23,000 people screaming fans? It's going to be insane.
Unbelievable. I'm keep watching tickets here just out of curiosity and get in price for tomorrow night. It's going to be something else. You know what, Brian, though, too, and we can talk about this more next week. I don't mind Montreal against Carolina.
I don't either. I mean, we've played well against them all year. To be fair, as a Habs fan, and for most Habs fans, we're really excited about where things are going right now. I don't think most of us felt that we thought we might get through the first round, but it was going to be iffy at best because we're a young team. I mean, really young team. We're rebuilding. So we're way ahead of schedule as far as that goes. So we're playing with house money right now.
All right, people can get out there and golf. The window tomorrow doesn't look bad at all, Brian. How should they book? How can they book at Flowing Springs?
Give us a call at 306-543-5050, and you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
All right, Brian, have a good weekend, long weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good, Barney. Take care. Have a good weekend.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport is the home of the price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
Wasn't great up in Saskatoon today for Rider Training Camp. Coach Mace, he wanted bad weather, and he got it.
When times get tough or you're tired, whether the weather is an issue, can you think, can you execute? They were nails today. It was awesome. I hope it snows tomorrow.
Trevor Harris talked about playing in the weather today up in Saskatoon.
Yeah, it's playoff football. It's felt like playoff weather, and there's a few games and a few plays today where the wind plays a little bit of a factor in making throws. You got to make sure you keep the ball down and drive it, regardless if you're into it or it's behind you. And so it's fun. It's always a great challenge. I feel like they ordered some great weather for us in training camp. We've gotten summer, spring, and winter days already. So
tonight in Prince Albert, the Raiders are trying to stay alive against the Everett Silvertips. Everett leads the WHL Championship Series 3-1. PA wins. It goes back to Everett for Game 6. 7:30 is puck drop there. Canada played their first game at the World Hockey Championships. They took care of Sweden today, 5-3. PGA Championship, Alex Smalley leads, as does Maverick McNeely at -4 right now, late in round 2. And Blue Jays, Detroit Tigers playing hardball. We'll update you in hour 3. The Sports Ticker is for Extreme Hockey and Sport. More than hockey, they have baseball, they got lacrosse. 3 locations, McIntyre Street, Cooperator Center, and now Temple Garden Center in Moose Jaw. Under new management, they're local, they support local. Extreme Hockey and Sport. Off the Rails Friday. Coming up with Eric Francis in hour 3. Another chance to win a Sask Lotteries Rider Nation Scratch and Win ticket. We're also taking more text messages on bad May long weather stories for a chance to win one of those scratch tickets at 936-6262, the Prairieland Rentals text line. Hour 3 is coming up after the news. Hour 3 for Nelson Holmes on this Friday, May long weekend. What a way to start around the province. We got wind, we got rain, cloud, cold. It's getting cold. But thanks for making time today, however you're listening. If you missed any of it, you can go back and listen to it in podcast form. The podcast is for Freeze Tallman Lumber in Fort Capel and Regina. Delivery available. Trex Decking sale is on right now. We've had Farhan Lalji, which we're going to hear again from a bit. We have 2 training camp reports up in Saskatoon. We talked to Martin Ring about the Prince Albert Raiders and Everett Silvertips game tonight. We talked about Monday's 9-a-side football clash between Saskatchewan and Manitoba out in Lumsden. We also heard from Nelson Lacombo in hour 2. Still to come in this hour, Eric Francis momentarily. We're going to hear from Zach Fry from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and like I said as well, Farhan Lalji. We've been giving away or taking entries for the Rider Scratch ticket at 936-6262 with your May-long weekend weather stories. Just got one in from Roscoe. May-long 92, camping at Floatin' Lake. 2-month-old son woke up 4 inches of snow. Kept camping. My wife reminded me of that. Fishing was slow. My wife also reminded me of that. Roscoe. So he's entered to win the first Scratch and Win ticket. We will have another one to give away somehow, some way in the next hour. But let's talk to Eric Francis.
Now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the SportsCage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Sports Select. Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer.
What are you? What are you doing? On a couch? Relaxing?
I'm at my cabin.
Ah, yes, I called it. I took Colson. I said, I bet you he's at his cabin.
Yeah, I'm at the cabin, and I've all sorts of, like, I got 9 boys outside carrying rocks. We put up a retaining wall on the lake there, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there's a whole lot of work being done, and I get to sit in here and kind of just chat with you, which is a nice break from all that stuff.
May long weekend weather, though, shouldn't it be? Because Calgary, man, you still get crap weather. I saw how much snow they got at Sunshine yesterday. Like, absolutely insane. But shouldn't we be able to defer May long weekend? If the weather's crap, we say, you know what, man, I'm going to take that day. I'm going to take that Monday in June or July.
Wouldn't that be nice if we had that option? We come up to the cabin in Sylvan Lake every year. Sorry, my camera's all over the place. We come up every year, but it snows about half the years. And like, even if it's only for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, and it's a beautiful day here right now. We should be golfing if we weren't moving rocks. But tomorrow it's supposed to be, I think, the high of 6. Like, it's terrible. That's May long, man. That's the Western Canadian plight that we all face.
I told a May long story at the start of the show in hour 3. My other one was with the fellas kind of in Waskesiu, but we were playing Elk Ridge. And I've never just been able to guzzle a beer, like straight down the hatch, right? Buddies could do it. They were like, hey, watch me shotgun this beer. Yeah, cool. Good for you. But it was snowing. We were playing Elk Ridge. I look back and there's a picture, just bad combo, just awful looking gear. And it was my first shotgun of a beer. And I remember how awful it came out of my nose. I can't remember if there's anything else that came up. And I was like, and there was snow falling and we were playing golf. It's May long. Like, I think last year was nice, if I remember correctly. But we have lots of people messaging in where they started with a sunburn, and by halfway through May long, there was snow on the ground. So, yeah. It's awful. So hauling rocks, that'll be fun. That'll be good for your back.
Oh my God! Well, that's why it's almost like I got a doctor's note. I can't do it because I'm a mess, and so. And you know what? My wife's all on board. She's like, you better not touch a single rock. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to say that twice to me. I'll be in charge of beverages for the young men and just general direction. There's a lot of kids out there working real hard. I'm real proud of them. But that May long weekend, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Anyone who's got a cabin, you're almost always spending that whole weekend just working. Like, you know, bringing out all the patio furniture, whatever it is you got to do. And then at night you really get into it because you felt like you deserved it. So tonight, give me about 2 hours text me in about 2 hours and see how I'm doing. I'll be feeling a whole lot better. I won't feel any pain in my back. I'll put it that way.
By the end of this episode, I'll give you a couple of hip hop songs that you can play really loud tonight while you're crushing your rum and coke, and the kids will be like, "Oh, listen, old man, turn that down." But
you know, we came out here for Christmas or New Year's Eve, and had a real good little shindig. But the way the world's changed, right? Remember, you were talking about those speakers you had that encased in the back of the car. Everybody had those massive speakers. When I was going to university, and that's a kabillion years ago, when you moved your speakers and your clothes and whatever other crap. None of the other stuff didn't matter. Important thing was you had your 2 big, massive speakers, and you took them wherever you went. Now they fit in your golf bag, and they're just as loud almost. But my goal this year is to have, I told my kids, I said, I only want one thing for Christmas, Father's Day, my birthday. I want a speaker, like a Bluetooth, that's big enough for me to dance on. That's all I want this year for Christmas or my birthday. So I literally have Googled it, biggest Bluetooth speaker available, and none of them are big enough for me to dance on. So the world's got to get with it and find me some big old speakers to dance on.
Everybody's going to smaller Bluetooth speakers. You want the big one. Okay.
That's right.
We'll go with it. Yeah, but you always wanted to be you wanted to make sure that somebody brought the boom box or the ghetto blaster May Long up to the cabin. And I always Waskasoo, the fellas. See, we had our cabin there, but then the boys always rented one at the Hillcrest, and I would have the power hour. And I would just run the tunes. It was the Shinks Power Hour, and we just sit there and diesel and guzzle and all. What a time to be alive! Yeah, like I said, someone invent a time machine already. Okay, so you're on the cusp here of figuring out what's going on for you. And do you know your travel plans yet to cover round 3?
Yeah, booked my flights today. I'm off to Denver for 4 nights, and then 4 nights in Vegas, God help us all, and then back and forth. Hopefully it's series, because I love both those towns. Look, not many people think it will be a long series. I mean, Colorado's just dominated. I'm not sure when the last time we've seen a team dominate this much this early into the playoffs. Like, 1 loss, President's Trophy. Like, hands up all those who think that Colorado's not winning the Stanley Cup. Not a lot of people with their hands up right now. Hey, anything could happen, but I'm just telling you how it sure looks like this is Colorado's to lose.
You know what doesn't look good, though, is Cale Makar and that injury.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to play on Monday and them tell me exactly what his ailment is and how long he's out for. That's not the way it works in the playoffs. But I am expected to be let into the locker room. Did you see the story of the Vegas Golden Knights and what they did to the media last night, but more importantly, what the league countered with today? I cannot believe how punitive that move is going to be to them. Losing a 2nd-round draft pick and a $100,000 fine to your coach. They had been warned before, you can't close the door to the media, and now they're taking away a 2nd-round pick. Look, I'm in the media, and I'm not even sure I think that's fitting. That's egregious.
Okay, dummy it down for us, Eric, on how it works and what the teams are supposed to give access to.
Yeah, like after the game, every team is required to open up their dressing room and make every player available. Now, even the media, we don't stick it to them. If a guy's injured or he's on the training table or he took a puck in the face, like, you don't have to bring out everybody we asked for, but you do have to open the room and just make it a possibility for us to talk to guys. They made 1 guy available, and that was it. Or was it 1 or 2? 1 or 2 on the podium. I think it was only 1.
2, I think. And then, I thought I heard 2.
2. And Jack Eichel did an interview with TNT, which is, but that's an exclusive interview. And then Tortorella didn't speak, and that's a no-no. The coaches have to speak, especially when the spotlight of the league is on you. You just clinched your series. But the word is they were protesting the 1-game suspension to Braden McNabb. And guess what, guys? They don't have a leg on. That is a 1-game suspension. Followed through on an unsuspecting player where the puck was nowhere near him, and you injured him. At least a 1-gamer in any circumstance. And if that's the way you want to show your beef to the league, no wonder the league came down as hard as they did on him. This is a fascinating story. Now, they made it clear that they're going to give them a chance to appeal. They can appeal only to the commissioner, and we know how it generally goes. So good luck with that.
What have you ever been through this before, and what kind of punishments have you seen before?
Nothing like this. I've never seen a punishment before. Look, our little union of writers and broadcasters who want to get into the room and get our quotes is shrinking by the day, and it's not like we're a very powerful union anyway. We do take it upon ourselves to try and fight for every availability, because when they start taking them away, they never come back. So, look, it's not just for us, it's for the fans too. They want to hear what the players have to say after a game. They're curious what a coach has to say about this, that, and the other thing. And so you're denying the fans. So this is not just because the 7 guys covering the game last night had their nose out of joint because they couldn't get quotes. This is because the fans and everyone who follows the league was denied insight and some form of entertainment following the game as meant by league bylaws. So the reason why they've been punished is we've gone to them and complained about different things over the years as writers, and nothing ever seems to happen. But this is because they've been talked to about this several times before, and this was considered the last straw.
Second round pick, yeah.
That's cute.
We had a few people text in that were just like, whoa. Speaking of texting in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, Jeffrey texts in, tell Francis he shouldn't buy a different speaker than the JBL Party Box Ultimate. Greatest Bluetooth speaker out there. So our listeners are looking out for you.
I appreciate that. I'm on it. I will be looking that up. I hope it's bigger than I think it is. But if the sound's that big, then I'll have to compensate.
I would love.
I've been compensating for years.
I would love if somehow, some way, I could, and I'm like a lot of people, could get into the Bell Center tomorrow night in Montreal to watch this game. Okay, let's play the game. Let's play the game right now on a secondary market that I'm on. Just one ticket because I'm okay going by myself. Guess how much get-in price secondary market is to get into that game. And maybe not as crazy as you think. I don't know if I would do this. Maybe
$900, $800.
$605.
Okay.
$605 right now.
But that's for like junk seats at the very top of the building, I'm sure.
But I heard that it doesn't matter where you are in that building for one, and then it's the atmosphere, and that intro is kind of what you're going for. Think I could do my pigeon media request? Be like, hey, I'm Barney from the SportsCage.
I got a couple podcasts. You got a seat for me? Hey, it worked in Vegas last time we were there.
Well, they have like nothing but room in that press box too, in Vegas.
We were the only ones. We were the only ones sitting in there for about 10 feet on either side of us. Nobody. I think it'll be a little busier the next game they play in Vegas. And there's a good debate. Where's the best? Is it going to be Vegas next game they play there? Is it going to be Denver, Montreal? I think everyone's going to say Montreal. It's all Vegas, but they're all 3 raucous buildings. They're going to be fantastic.
Hands down, Montreal. If Montreal moves on, and Carolina's got to go there, hands down, Montreal.
Yeah. Buffalo's been pretty amazing too, though. Look, you get down to the short straws like this. Every building's in a euphoric state, and people are screaming their minds out, and they're paying a lot of money to get in there. So it's a beautiful thing. Our game does a real nice job with those atmospheres. That's for sure.
So with the crap weather tonight, and you sit and you just listen to music, what do you do? Maybe a Netflix? Do you watch an old movie? Do you play a card game, euchre? What do you do?
No, we'll sit around the fire. We'll sit around the fire on my deck there, and the kids will do s'mores, and the parents will do be drinking, and charcuterie board every night, 6 o'clock Friday, every 6 o'clock Friday. Gotta have the charcuterie board, and
you know what us Ukrainians call a charcuterie board here in Sask?
What?
Cheese, sausage, and cheese. Go to anyone's house and they cut up some kubasa and they put cheese on probably some sort of tinfoil plate. That's a charcuterie board in Sask. Maybe some pickles.
That's fair. That's fair. It's our fancy word for just an assortment of cheeses and meats. It's all good.
We don't have to get fancy.
Yeah, it's not. We don't. It's not that cold here, so it'll be a nice night to just get together. But like I said, a lot of the people you see at the cabin, I'm sure a lot of people who are listening are probably feeling the same way. You see them at the cabin, you haven't seen them for 6 months. Some people, right? They're cabin friends. So we'll all be getting together tonight and excited to see one another no matter how cold it is. We'll be sitting out there even if we're wearing toques.
And some guys, I get it. Hey, I'm in that boat. It's like, ooh, he's put on a few pounds. And then for sure there's going to be one guy that you and Sarah, by the end of the night, you're walking home or you're leaving and going, do you think he's on Ozempic? I think he's on Ozempic. Because one guy,
That's going to be... You're right.
One guy's just his clothes are going to be all baggy. He lost too much weight. You're going to be like, he's on Ozempic.
Well, I got a question about that. Like, look, I've heard some shocking stats, like something like 30 or 40% of Americans are on some form of like Ozempic or, one of those knockoffs. And like that stuns me because I don't see that when I go to America. But what percentage of it is men versus women? I would think that it would be more like 80% women. Like, I don't have any in my life that I look at and I go, yeah, that guy's probably on Ozempic. But there are lots of women that I know that you asked that question. Is that fair? Is that sexist? Is it reality? I don't know.
I think a lot of men are starting to get into it. I know guys that are into it. You know what? I grew up with Slim Fast. I'm going out with Slim Fast. Two shakes a day and a meal. Yeah, let's do it. Slim Fast, baby.
I would, at some point, I'm sure someone's going to say, you should get in on Ozempic. I'm sure the way I'm heading, but I couldn't do it because the needles. Can't do the needles. Never inject myself with a needle.
Nah.
Not in a million.
Then if you don't, Weight Watchers are still a thing, and you can do the Jared 6-inch sub thing. He lost a lot of weight. He was weird as all could be, but you can do that too.
Yeah, things didn't work out for him in the end, but that's too bad. But I like your Slim Fast idea. That's something I'll look at. Look, I'm skinny fat. I'm not Ozempic territory yet. Although maybe tonight people will say or kind of hint towards it, and that'll be very hurtful.
Report back.
I'm a large, right? We've talked about this. I'm a medium heading towards a large. Like, sure, get in between, but more on the medium to go about 3 years ago. And now 80% of the time it's the large I got to go with. So that's a marge heading towards Buster.
It happens. Hey, I've done the belt. Oh, need a different loop on that belt. It's not 2021 anymore, but that's okay. Okay, have a good weekend. Enjoy. Listen, I was listening to these guys the other day cruising. Public Enemy. You must like Public Enemy back in the day.
Oh yeah, saw them live. Yeah.
Apocalypse 91. That whole album. You can. That's my. Or you could go Rebel Without a Pause from one of their earlier, or Fear of a Black Planet was a great album as well. So that's my hip hop tidbits for the week.
Okay, word. I'm gonna go get my JBL and pump that out.
Yeah, see what the kids sing. Okay, take care of that back. Talk to you next week.
Yeah, if I'm too fat, I won't be able to stand on that JBL though, will I?
Slim Fast, baby.
I'll report back.
Slim Fast.
Slim Fast.
Our NHL insider Eric Francis for Sports Select. Make your picks online. Generate a QR code. Lickety split. There you go. Every bet is 100% legal. Must be 18 plus to play. It's a SportsCage. Streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Western Hockey League final up in Prince Albert tonight. Raiders trying to stay alive, down 3-1 to the Everett Silvertips. Puck drop at 7:30. Canada won their first game at the World Hockey Championships today, 5-3 over Sweden. Maverick McNeely and Alex Smalley lead the PGA Championship at -4 late in round 2. Blue Jays Tigers playing baseball tonight. Sports Ticker is for Steelcraft Doors in Regina, PA, Saskatoon, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. Steelcraft Doors. All right. You want to win a scratch and win ticket? Right now, if you haven't won anything on CKRM in the last 30 days, 936-6262 or 1-866-767-0620, giving away our last Rider Nation Scratch ticket, a chance to win $75,000, $200,000 in Rider experiences up for grabs as well. Caller number 4. Caller number 4. There you go. Let's go. Dave Thomas teased this earlier. Dave Thomas catching up with Zach Fry.
Pleased to be joined by offensive lineman Zach Fry. A cooler day in Saskatoon. I bet that's music to your ears.
It was pretty hot yesterday. The boys were sweating, but yeah, it's always nice to have a cool day like this and then play football in different elements. So the rain was, of course, you don't like it too much, but you're gonna have rainy games, so it's nice to have these ones.
Getting a lot of reps right now at left guard. How does that feel?
It feels good. I played a lot of left guard over the last 2 years. Had a lot of starts, a lot of times jumping into games at left guard. So I feel pretty comfortable there this year, and yeah, just trying to learn as much as I can and keep getting better.
And that's one thing that Coach Mace pointed out. I asked him how your development has gone, and he says you continue to improve, whether it's mentally or physically. Do you feel that improvement, and is it as fast and where you want it to be?
Yeah, of course you always want it to be a little faster, but it's going to take time. And, a lot of things that we say in the O-line room is just stacking days and just continue to work on things. So I think that's a big part of it, and just again, trying to get better every day.
How do you get better? What is the next step in the progression of Zach Fry?
Yeah, I think it's just understanding defenses more, getting in that weight room more. You can do everything better. Just, dialing in your footwork, dialing in the calls, your language, the way you play with other people, just learning to play with other people and just stuff like that.
Seems like yesterday your name was called out of Western, or is it like that at all? Does it seem like a long time?
It does. It has seemed like it doesn't seem too far away, but again, if I look back at it, heading to my fourth training camp now, so yeah, it has been a while.
So what do you hope that you take out of this training camp? Obviously, you want to establish yourself on the depth chart, but what else do you need to take away?
Yeah, just have fun out here with the guys. It's awesome being here and creating relationships. A big part of training camp that everyone loves is that we're always around each other. Everyone's staying in the same building. We're all playing cards, having fun, and the O-line's just always together. So I think the relationships that we build and how that will translate to the season is huge.
It's amazing the cohesiveness that there is on the offensive line. Where does that start?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. We have a lot of the guys back from last year, which is awesome, and I'm super close with all these guys. I've spent a lot of time with Brammer, Ferlin, Yosh, Peyton, all these guys, all the vets, and I'm starting to get to know these rookies pretty well. So as long as you can be a group together is how you're going to play the best.
What's a good day for an offensive lineman in training camp, right? If a receiver makes a couple of catches, he's happy. If a defensive back makes an interception, it's good. What about for you?
Yeah, it's just running off the ball. Feet feel good, pass pro is good, making sure no one gets close to Trev, scoring touchdowns, first downs is just try to keep the feet under you and just keep rolling.
I know that this is your fourth time around. What do you need to do, though, to be prepared for week 1 of the regular season with a couple of preseason games coming up right away?
Yeah, just get my feet under me, get those game reps in preseason, play like it's a game here, run to the ball every play, get that conditioning in, and just get in the film. The big thing is the film, and we have a lot of scout on these guys that we played a lot last year, and so preseason too. So just get in the film and get in the field and do the best we can.
On behalf of kids in the province of Saskatchewan, it's number 6'7", Zach Fry. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much.